Remember those classic handcrafted characters from the Marvel series era of Thomas and Friends? Ones that had personality, charm, and stories that many of us grew up loving but never quite made it into the CGI world? Today we're going beyond the finish line to uncover the forgotten faces, those engines and vehicles who helped shape the Marvel series but faded away when the show changed to CGI. Welcome to Beyond the Finish Line, the podcast here on Thomas and Friends 1984, where we deep dive into the stories, the characters, and the behind the scenes magic of Thomas and Friends. I'm your host, Caleb, and today we're shining a spotlight on the Marvel Series era characters that never made it into CGI. So, what's up, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Finish Line. Now, my original idea and original plan was to have the first three episodes of Gordon's Great Race, parts one, two, and three. But then I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just mix it up a little bit and have this one as episode one? Then I'll have, part two as episode three or episode four, whichever one I do. And, I just thought I need to switch it up instead of having having the first three the same thumbnail. You know, it's like and also I do also want to say that what was that? Oh yeah, um, and there's only three parts or three segments, whatever we want to call them, in this episode with five parts each instead of 10. So that way this won't be a three-parter like episode one will be. But yeah, but this is episode two, Lost in Lost Legends of the. Okay, guys, this is episode two, Lost Legends of the Model Era. So number one. So segment one is the Forgotten Legends, and number one is Stepney the Blue Bell engine. So we're going to be talking about five different engines today. So Stepney, the cheerful little gold engine from the Blue Bell Railway, was a fan favorite during the Model Series years. Introduced as a friendly and hard-working agent, Stepney was a breath of fresh air with his distinct gold paint and vintage charm. His appearances made his appearances, especially in specials and certain episodes, made him a beloved secondary character. But when the series switched to CGI in season 12, Stepney's screen time dropped drastically. Aside from few brief cameos in some season 12 episodes, he was mostly left out. Fans often laminate this appearance as Stepney represented a real connection to the real life heritage railways and the earlier spirit of the show. Number two, Oliver and Toad. Now I know they were brought back in CGI, but this is also what we'll talk about in this episode. That yes, they were brought back to CGI, but they were kind of forgotten. They didn't make as many appearances as the fans probably would like. So Oliver and Toad. Oliver, the Great Western Tank Engine, with his unique green paint and spirited personality, was a mainstay of the model series and, successfully transitioned into CGI, becoming a regular face on the island. Sneaky interactions with Thomas and Percy made him a fan favorite. However, Toad, Oliver's faithful Rick fan, not sure the same luck. Despite being a comic relief in the model series, Toad was noticeably absent during much of the CGI era, only appearing sporadically, only appearing a few times without the character depth fans remembered. His quirky, squeaky antics were missed. All right, now number three are Duke, Lord Harry, and Bertram. Now, can't remember if Lord Harry was ever in the series or if he was, just mentioned, but part of this will be about like railway series like characters too. Yeah, but like I said, I can't remember if he was, but like this will be also we'll also be talking about. Well, we will be talking a little bit about the railway series too. So the narrow gauge engines added a different flavor to the model series. Characters like Duke, Lord Harry, Smudger, Bertram, um, Holy Engines. I know they were railway series only, but then there was Skirt Lowy, Peter Sam, all them. But and it showcased the Spore Engine adventures. Duke with his tough but kind nature was especially significant, representing the hard work and narrow-gauge crews. Unfortunately, none of these three made the full transition into CGI. All the Harry and Bertram actual efforts left impressions with their designs, scene designs, and personalities. Their absence is often discussed in fan circles, especially by those who love the narrow gauge stories. Number four, the road vehicles Carolina, George, and Bulgy. Now, the same thing Solomon told. Bulgy was in the CGI series, but not as much. Then same thing with, Caroline. I know she was, I think she was only in the classic series. George, on the other hand, I know he was in Colonel Engines. I think that was his last appearance. I can't remember. He might have been in the Great Discovery, but he never had a speaking role. He didn't talk. You know, so with George's fate, started. George's fate not appearing much actually happened in the model series, but the model series had a lovable cast of road vehicles who provided comic relief and sound alive beyond the rails. Caroline, the spirited car with a quick wit, was a standout for her comedic timing and presence. Sadly, she vanished completely in the CGI series. George the Grumpy Steamroller, known for his tempered antics, was similarly sidelined. He was a memorable character in the mall era, but never got a full CGI makeover. The Bulgy, the double-decker bus, with a bit of a boastful attitude, managed a few limited CGI appearances, but never regained his model era charm. Now, we do have one more narrow gauge engine to talk about, and that is Smudger. Smudger was a one of a kind character, a little engine with a big heart, who only appeared in one episode. His story, though brief, was memorable for many fans because it showed a character arc full of determination and growth. Sadly, Smudger was never brought back or adapted for CGI, but his legacy lives on with those who appreciated his unique story and underdog spirit. Segment 2, Part 2. So, Part 2. The impact of their absence. Nostalgia and fad memories. These characters remain cherished in the hearts of longtime fans. Despite not appearing in CGI, their memories endure through fan art, fan fiction, and especially model railway layouts created by enthusiasts around the world. N- The nostalgia for these characters runs deep, run deep, and fuel a thriving community that celebrates the model series era. Uh, Number two, the switch from model to CGI, and the franchise moved from tactile model sets to full CGI animation. Production demands changed drastically. New software, budgets, and storytelling styles might streamlining the cast was inevitable. Unfortunately, this meant many beloved secondary and niche characters were left behind. not necessarily forgotten, but shelved for practical reasons. Now, that is kind of like the fate of both Dennis and Billy. Again, Billy, again, only appeared on one episode with Billy, and I think Dennis appeared in more than one, but he wasn't really used much. But they were remade into their respective brothers. Charlie is Billy's brother, and Norman is Dennis's brother. But like, I know there were plans. I think there was plans for actually both of them to return in CGI, but they replaced them with the new characters. Now the one episode Fate is also with can also relate to Bulstrode. He was only in one episode, but he does, but don't count for this episode for what we're talking about here because Bulstrode did return in All Engines Go. So but number three, the legacy of the model era. The model series set a high standard for character-driven storytelling with diverse personalities and rich backgrounds. The absence of these characters in CGI created a noticeable gap, especially for fans who grew up with them. This absence is often felt as a loss of depth and variety in the newer series. Number four, fan theories and speculations. Fans have speculated for years about why certain characters never return. Some say licensing issues, others point to the cost of redesigning complex models for CGI. Some fans have even created their own stories imagining these characters' fates, hoping to revive them in fan media or online projects. Number five, part five, the influence on modern episodes. The lack of these characters forced the series to develop a new agents and vehicles to fill the gap. So it's like I said with Dennis and Billy turning into Charlie and no, turning into Charlie and Norman. This led to fresh faces like Nia and Rebecca, but some fans feel the original Marvel series characters had a charm and personality that modern episodes haven't fully recaptured. Okay, and we're on to segment three, keeping the legacy alive. Fan creations and number one, fan creations and model layouts. Many fans keep these characters alive through incredibly detailed models that showcase gun engines like Stepney and Duke. Fan clubs and online communities dedicate the monster spirit dedicated to the monster series spirit help preserve their stories and celebrate their legacy. The role of collect Number two, the role of collectors. Collectors treasure original model figures of these characters. Rare pieces featuring Oliver, Smudger, and George often fetch high prices and spark excitement at fan conventions. Special edition releases sometimes pay homage to these characters, keeping them, keeping them visible in the collector market. Number three, the cultural impact. Beyond toys, these characters have inspired fan art, fan fiction, and even small animated projects created by dedicated fans. They often appear in fan discussion podcasts and events that celebrate the full history of Thomas and Friends, reinforcing their cultural significance. Number four is the legacy in modern storytelling. Occasionally, the modern series gives a nod to these forgotten faces, subtle references, cameos, or stylistic homages that longtime fans catch with a smile. These Easter eggs show the creators' awareness and respect for the model series' enduring impact. Model series' enduring impact. Number five, what could have been. Imagine if Stephanie, Duke, Caroline, Smudger, and the rest that we talked about today Imagine if they were fully embraced in the CGI era. What would the stories tell? How would they fit with today's characters? Speculation is part of the fun, and fans continue to dream of these engines and vehicles while making a triumphant return. So, thanks so. Hold on. Thanks for joining me on this trip down the tracks for Beyond the Finish Line here on Thomas Fan 1984. Now, I want to hear from you once again. Which forgotten Marvel series character do you wish had made it into CGI? Drop a comment below. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell and turn on those post notifications so you don't miss future deep dives into the world of Thomas and Friends. And yeah, um, this yeah, but I know. Hold on. Okay, so I just read through the other parts of the script, and I didn't say this before, but I actually did have ChatGPT write me more, six more parts to this, so I can have 10 segments. I think that's what I'm gonna do because I'm only at 16 minutes. I feel like I could get through all of them, you know. So segment four is the forgotten female legends. Number one, Molly and Bella. Now I know Belle was introduced in the CGI series, but she wasn't always. She didn't have as many episodes, along with you know along with Flynn. You know, so Molly and although although Molly was a part of this model series and Belle was a part of the CGI series, they never had prominent roles in the CGI series. These engines were among the few female engines in the early series, representing diversity and a softer touch. Fans remember their unique designs and hope for more inclusion. The importance of representation. Female female engines like Molly and Belle offered role models for young viewers. Their absence from CGI, Belle's, well, yeah, Molly's complete absence from CGI, then Belle's limited, um, limited appearances from CGI reflect a missed opportunity to showcase diverse characters and stories within the world of Sodor. Now, I know like Flynn and Belle were in Steam Team to the Rescue, but like even then, they weren't in it that much. Like, you know, fan advocate, fan advocate, ad, advocacy. Many many fans have called for a return of greater focus on female Indians, celebrating the legacy of Molly and Belle through fan art and fan fiction. Their stories have inspired newer female characters, but the originals hold a special nostalgic place. The potential storylines, had they been included in CGI in general and more often, respectively, could they have been a part of new story arcs focused on teamwork, friendship, and leadership? Themes the series often explore, but rarely with older female engines. Legacy beyond screen time. So this is number five. This is the last part of segment four. Even with limited screen time, Molly and Belle continue to inspire fans and collectors, remind us of how every engine, no matter the size of their role, can leave a lasting impact. Now, this is something that not a lot of YouTubers talk about. We have the physical models of model series. We have those preserved, but you know, Thomas and CGI, they never had physical models. I don't think so. They might have made physical models, but they were for it might have been for the cast and crew, and that was it. Like, I don't think like, I don't think those have been, like, preserved at all. But, segment 5, forgotten non-Indian characters. Dowager Hat, Sir Topham Hatt's mother, was a charming and memorable figure in the Marvel series. Her limited appearance in CGI left a gap left a gap in the Hatt's family backstory, which added warmth and depth. Mr. Bubbles, the jolly clown Mr. Bubbles, was a staple in the Marvel series, adding humor and personality to the road vehicles and the engines too. He rarely appeared in CGI and was eventually dropped altogether. The masters and other human characters. Several human characters, including the station masters, had more screen time and roles in the model series, but became back, background or unseen figures in CGI, changing the dynamic of the human world on Sodor. And that's what from what I can remember too. Like they were, they had pretty big roles in CG or in the model series sometimes. A lot of the times, like they were known as sort of as helpers, and they they have a cameo, but they might not always have a speaking role. Fan nostalgia. Number 4, fan nostalgia. Fans fondly remember these characters whose quirks and personalities enrich the world beyond the engines and trains. Number 5, how they shape the story. These non-engine characters played crucial roles in grounding the stories and creating a believable community, highlighting the world strength of the model series. Mm, how are my two segments 6 and we're already at 22 minutes like we were the last video? I really don't want to have to chop this into two parts, but I might just have to. Um, hold on. They're actually shorter than the first three segments, so I will just do them. So segment 6, we're going to talk about the lost stories and specials, unused scripts and concepts. Many storylines planned for the model series never made it to screen or were lost in the transition to CGI. These unused scripts often featured the forgotten characters, leaving fans curious about what could have been. Like I was talking about Billy, with Billy, Charlie, Dennis, and Norman. You know, the way the characters were written in the model series was changed in the CGI series. You know, number 2, special episodes featuring forgotten characters. Specials like Blue Mountain Mystery and Day of the Diesels gave these characters moments to shine, but no CGI counterparts followed. You know, so like Belle and Flynn, they had a prominent role in Day of the Diesels, but they didn't. They only appeared every so often in the future specials and episodes. Fan made reimaginings. Fans have created their own adaptations and continuations of lost stories. There's an animation and writing to preserve the moral spirit of the moral series, or to preserve the spirit of the moral series. Number 4, impact on canon. The lack of the lack of these stories in CGI leaves gaps in continuity that fans attempt to fill through discussion and fan projects. That just made me think, the whole reason why we didn't get to see a lot of these characters in CGI was, because uh, Shannon Miller took over after, when CGI started, so we didn't get to see a lot of these older characters from CGI from the CGI series, and some of them, were replaced altogether with new Indians. Again, like Billy and Dennis being replaced with Charlie and Norman. Number five, hope for revival. Some fans hope future Thomas Media might revive or reimagine these lost stories and characters, bridging the gap between the modern CGI eras. Like I said with Bolshoi, he didn't appear at all in. Okay, he only appeared in one episode in the Marvel series, then didn't appear at all till All Engines Go. And then, so now, if that, if, if there is a if there is a new show coming in 2026, I would like to see some of these old characters from the monsters, even some from the CGI series that never, that were never introduced into, in All Engines Go. And speaking of All Engines Go, like, some of the All Engines Go exclusive characters like Kana, Sandy, um, and whoever else. I'm trying to think. Oh, Carly, because she could easily come back as a Grain. Like, some of those All Engines Go characters, what if they were made into CGI? What would that look like? I would love to see that. No, but segment seven is the musical legacy. Theme songs and character tunes. Many forgotten characters had unique musical themes or songs in the model series, which added personality and charm. And that's true, because it seemed like after season seven, I mean, we had Thomas and Edward and Henry and Percy and Gordon, all the main characters. They got new theme song, new character themes for season eight. But then after that, it just seemed like they do those uh, uh didn't do those themes like that as much as they did in since seasons 1 to 7. But number two is sound effects and voices. Distinct voices and sound effects help differentiate, like, characters like Smudger or Caroline, giving them life beyond their models. Like Smudger's famous laugh. You know, like, he's got that its own laugh, and even in the CGI series, with a whole voice cast, influence on modern music, while CGI shift at number three. So CGI shifted music style echoes of the model series tunes can be found in nostalgic fan remixes and tribute albums. I know, I can't remember what episode and what Indian it was. It might have been Thomas. There was like a modern remake of one of his old um one of his old there was a like a modern remake, or it incorporated like his old theme. It was one of the engines. Also, I know this video is longer than part or episode one, but it is what it is. Um, fan cover number four was fan covers and tributes. Fans keep these musical legacies alive by performing covers and creating tribute videos. Number five, the role of music in character identity. The musical themes help fans connect emotionally with characters. A tradition many hope will return. Segment eight: the design and technical craftsmanship. Number one, model engineering. The model series engines were masterpieces of engineering and craftsmanship, hand built with incredible detail. Number two, animation challenges. Filmed in the models involve complex techniques like stop motion and live camera work, making each episode a technical feat. Which CGI's it's easier to animate than CGI. Why didn't they do some of that with the Ultimate series characters? Number three, why some characters didn't translate. Certain CGI designs were too complex or too detailed to easily convert into CGI model, influencing which characters survived the transition. But that don't apply with like again with Charlie and Norman. They could have easily been scrapped and brought back as Billy and Dennis respectively. They could have added them into the CGI series, but they didn't. They replaced them completely. Number four, collector appreciation. Fans and collectors appreciate the artistry behind the physical models, often showcased in museums and exhibitions. Number five, the influence on modern CGI design. Modern CGI design draws inspiration from the model series attention to detail, even if some characters didn't survive the transition. Segment 9, the fan community and conventions. Model Series fan, number one Model Series fan clubs, dedicated groups celebrate the Model Series and its forgotten characters through memes and online forums. Number two, conventions and meetups. Events often feature rare models and exclusive merchandise that celebrate these lesser known characters. Number three, fan panels and discussions. Panels at conventions discuss the legacy and speculate on the fates of forgotten engines and vehicles. Number four, community projects. Collaborative fan projects from model railways to podcasts help keep the model series spirit alive. And then speaking of podcasts, that's kind of what I'm, you know, that's kind of what are in the questions I ask on over on Tidmouth Talks. I try to, you know, I try to ask as many questions as I can about, to my guests about the TV series. Some of them I'll ask, what do you like better, CGI or the model series? And number five is pass on the torch. Fans work to introduce new generations to the model series' unique charm and history. Segment 10, the last one, the last segment. Okay, so looking forward, the future of forgotten characters, potential CGI revivals is number one. The resurgence of interest in classic Thomas. Some fans hope forgotten characters might return in upcoming series or specials. Number two, role in spin-offs and media. These characters find new life in separate and in books, games, or digital media separate from the main CGI show. Number three, fan influence on social media. Fan passion and feedback have occasionally influenced character choices. This might open doors for model series returns. Number four, balance and nostalgia and innovation. Future productions face the challenge of honoring legacy characters while appealing to new audiences. Number five, final thoughts. Whether forgotten or remembered, these characters have left an, an, an indelible mark on Thomas and Friends history and the fans who love them. Um, so yeah, that's all I have for this one. I actually got all that done in 34 minutes, which is pretty good. 34 minutes, pretty good. Um, I guess I could redo the outro, so we'll do that now. Thanks for joining, and thanks again for joining me on this trip down the tracks for Beyond the Finish Line here on Top Spin 1984. Again, I want to hear from you which model series character do you wish had made it into CGI. Drop a comment below, and if you enjoy this episode, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future deep dives into the world of Thomas and Friends. Again, like I said, turn on those post notifications so you don't miss a new video. And I think that's gonna do it for this video. Okay, and now I don't know when episode 3 will be. I don't know what it will be about. I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, I don't know if it'll be about this kind of thing again, or if it'll be part two to Gordon's Great Race perspective. I don't know what exactly I'll do, but I'll keep doing those. Now, the reason why I haven't done live streams is because I've been busy making YouTube videos. So, this past week I made episode three of Fitness Talks, and now these two episodes of Beyond the Finish Line. So, I'm really had time to um make. I haven't really had time to make or to go live, but I am gonna keep going live. Don't you worry. There will be live streams, more live streams soon. I just don't know when. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope y'all enjoyed. And if you did, like I said, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Because I love this new series. Um, it's actually getting some pretty good views, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Um, Now if you guys want to request an episode, you can go ahead and do that. There's a comment section for a reason. And yeah, go subscribe to my other channel, subscribe to Tidmouth Talks, subscribe to Tom Stubbs Media Center, subscribe to the brand new um Thomas in the Multi-Fandom Universe. I'll also subscribe to my SML re-upload channel. I upload I re-upload SML videos on there, which I've only done two. I've only re-uploaded two on there, which I need to start uploading, re-uploading more. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video with another one. Bye for now. Have a good one.